afternoon. Happy Friday. This is Shawn Labelle of the Dekker Hewett Group. It was a slightly negative week out there, not much in terms of news flow. We continue to go through an earnings season that is delivering mixed results right now. You're really seeing consumer spending strong, as evidenced by the top line beats that many companies are reporting. However, it's the inflationary outlook that is impacting margins, and that means a little bit less on the earnings side in terms of the bottom end for these companies. And of course, that's something that we discuss in this week's Market Watch Weekly, because of course, that's the only thing people seem to be discussing so far in 2022. So in terms of this week's Market Watch Weekly, we just jump into some of the data, and that's something that we are really telling investors to focus on is the data, not necessarily the Fed rhetoric that you're hearing out there, because part of the inflationary battle is, of course, inflation expectations. And in order to get inflation under control, consumers need to believe that inflation will be lower in the future. So in order to do that, the Fed must remain tough in its stance, especially its communications to investors, that it will remain committed to battling inflation. So in terms of some of the data that we share with you in this week's Market Watch Weekly, there's a really good chart in there that just illustrates good side inflation, which is most definitely rolled over. The services side has been a little bit sticky, and that just is in part due to sort of the employment outlook out there, along with the wage strength that we're really seeing in the labor market right now. Well, that is also beginning to roll over a little bit. So this just really confirms the belief that inflation did peak in June, and you're really starting to see that roll over. So again, we talk about that in this week's Market Watch Weekly. We encourage you guys to take a read, and we will end it there. Hope everyone enjoys the weekend, and talk to you again next week. Cheers.